That's cool.
Hello everybody and welcome back. DJ 8-Ball here, hoping you're all safe and healthy during these crazy times, bringing to you more little personal DJ backstories from back in the day. I did a little backstory on Don't Stop the Rock, and then someone asked about Iron Man, which honestly didn't have much to it. But in that video, Elvin Maglinte said he couldn't wait for a breakdown of the G Thang tone. And I thought, oh my God, why didn't I think of telling something about that? There's a little more than Iron Man there for sure. Just a little less compared to Don't Stop the Rock though. So Elvin, this one's for you. As some of you know, I did G Thang test tone back at the 93 New Music Seminar in the first round. Again, that's the very first time an audience of that size from different parts of the world witnessed all the DJs that night. Just like in my case, Iron Man and Don't Stop the Rock. Another thing to remember, as I like to keep saying, before internet, it was pretty common for DJs to recycle routines from battle to battle, even year to year. And that's because chances of crowds, DJs, and judges seeing a routine from another part of the nation or even state was extremely rare. So a lot of times DJs had little advantages for shock and awe. If you're from California and you have to travel to New York and battle there, next to no one there would have seen your routine before. The only way they would have is if they somehow got a hold of previous footage. And footage in those days was distributed extremely slowly. One more thing to keep in mind is a routine might go extremely well in one area with the crowds going ooh and ah, and then that exact same routine would get crickets in another place. Back to footage, imagine this. I go to a local battle, I videotape it. Later I get home, it's just sitting there for who knows how long. Eventually I make a copy of it, tape to tape, no digital. Somebody eventually makes a copy of that copy. Days pass again, they might send it by mail to a friend in Texas. They make a copy, send it out to Chicago, and so on and so on. So you see, getting a hold of footage was not only hard, but very valuable in influence. Most of the times, people holding the footage would be other DJs. So even if the tape did make it to the next era you might be battling in, there's still a good chance hardly anyone there would recognize your routine, let alone the crowd. And crowd reaction is really important, as you know, at least energetically. Now, as for G Thang, was Seminar the unveiling of it? I can say 100% assurance it most definitely was not. In actuality, the very first time I used that tone was in early 1993, most definitely after DMC USA and before New Music Seminar. And I remember vividly, it was at a battle in San Mateo, California in April 1993 called the Buck Wild Classic. Shouts out to Keith O, the organizer. And this battle was held at a small club inside the Dunphy Hotel. That hotel is gone now, replaced by a Marriott, I believe. So the Buck Wild was supposed to be a yearly battle, but it ended up being a one-time thing for now, because Keith O keeps talking about bringing it back. There were only 8 DJs in the battle that night, and it was elimination style, just like NMS. But each DJ did get to go twice. It was pretty much all local DJs. I think the farthest any one of them had to travel was maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours tops driving. It was me, DJ Rhythm, who also did some really badass test tones in a later battle. Check out the footage I posted on him, by the way. DJ Disc, DJ Ruthless, Eddie Def, DJ Way Out, DJ Nuts, who by the way was a no-show, and DJ Shortcut. So in this particular battle, I unveiled the G Thang test tone while battling DJ Ruthless. But what this particular battle means in terms of history is that footage where I did G Thang was later on submitted by me to Clark Kent of Superman Incorporated to enter the NMS battle. And that was the footage that got me into the battle. By the way, Shortcut entered the same year also using footage of him from the Buck Wild battle as well. If it weren't for this particular battle, who knows if either of us, me or Shortcut, would have made it into Seminar or not. Now, that wasn't the last time G Thang was performed before Seminar. Just like Don't Stop the Rock, I also did G Thang at the Dynamic Sound Showcase battle earlier in 1993. For that matter, routines from the Buck Wild battle would be recycled to be used at Seminar again. And again, like I said, DJs repeated a lot of their routines from battle to battle. And again, you never know if it'll go well with the crowd or, you know, depending where you're at. Okay, so we've established that Seminar was not the first time I showed it off. Let's talk about what went into it. As I said in my Iron Man vid, most of the time I didn't have a preconceived routine of a song I want. I just messed around with the tone, see what would come out. G Thang at that time was all over the radio, at least in the West Coast. I actually remember walking in the mall one day and a group of high school kids were just hanging out and one guy started drumming a beat on a bench or the trash can, and then a person started rapping G Thang, and next thing you know, the whole group was rapping it out loud in public, and then security guard came and told them to, you know, move along and stop loitering. Anyways, needless to say, the song probably got stuck in my head somehow. I'm at home figuring things out on the test tones. I probably was trying to go for G Thang, and the tone record was used a lot. It's a very common one that other DJs use for the test tone. As a matter of fact, you hear Qbert using it at the beginning of his 91 DMC routine. It was the hype style DJ G Swift battle break, and I believe history, D-Styles had a hand in producing that record as well. So back to practice, I figured out the whole G Thang test tone. Honestly, not hard to do at all, but as you all know, when it comes to routines and patterns in the scratch world, sometimes it's not about how hard, and it's all about how it sounds, and most importantly, who came up with it first. Now, the crazy thing is, the first time I performed the tone at the Buck Wild battle, I didn't use the appropriate instrumental behind it. I think it's because during that battle, I didn't have a copy of the song, or there was no 12-inch with the instrumental available, at least not the real G Thang one. And during the Dynamic Sounds battle part where I performed G Thang as well, I didn't even use the instrumental version either. Now, Shortcut and I were pretty close during those days, and he was a literal library of knowledge when it came to knowing the original samples of songs. Ridiculous amount of stuff that I never knew pulled from an older song. He knew. I think one day we were out record digging, probably in Berkeley, and he walks up to me with a record he found and he tells me, "Here, use this. It's the original for the G Thang tune." And I'm like, what? And FYI, the original song was called "I Want to Do Something Freaky to You" by Leon Haywood. He actually found me a 12-inch repress version which had an instrumental on it. It's probably a repress bootleg actually. That was the record I took with me to Seminar to use in my opening round routine. Another DJ was talking to me on the phone not long after Seminar, and he told me it was just the right formula for such a big reaction. It was one of the biggest songs of the year. It was a style no one saw before, but most importantly, I played the original beat behind it. So thanks Shortcut for that while we're at it. Okay, so tell you what, here is the footage of said battle and routine. I present to you the first time the G Thang tone public performance, Buck Wild 1993. And again, thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoy. Please come back for more.